How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Sleep by the Hearth, where today we're going to be doing part 2 of the Old Gods card discussion. We're going to be talking about Validated Doomsayer, Augur, and Infested Tauren. Just real quick to kick things off, I'm going to be starting a thing where I introduce the idea of the daily Mario Maker level, where I know it's completely random, but I've recently acquired Mario Maker and started making levels, and if you guys have a Wii and Mario Maker and are interested to play the levels that I make, well, as you can see in the bottom left portion here, you can certainly take advantage of that. So go ahead, type that in, leave a comment, go nuts. There's apparently also a Super Mario Maker bookmark website where you can go and, I don't know, you can find me on there and whatever, more information on that another time, because we have cards to talk about I already wasted enough of your precious time. So, this card is going to be possibly one of my favorites, so, at least that's been revealed so far. Now, would of course be the one, the only Validated Doomsayer. Now, I know there's been some discussion on the Reddit and a couple of other places saying that it should be called Vindicated Doomsayer, not Validated Doomsayer. I'm here to stand by the Validated Doomsayer in the fact that I feel like he is not so much a validated Doomsayer himself, in that more or less he just feels validated because of his feelings, because he's always been saying like the end is coming, but no one's ever believed him. But now he feels validated in his opinions. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't really care. It's not the point. That's not the actual discussion piece. The actual discussion piece is going to be, of course, about his stats and his effect, and of course his rarity. And unlike the Cthulhu video that I had before, the links work again. We can actually look at the deck statistics that we have so far in builds and different class. Essential piece, piece of the pie where people expect to be putting them based on Hearthstone statistics, of course. So, first things first, he's a 5 mana 0/7, which, well, doesn't make a lot of sense until you look at the text. At the start of your turn, set this minion's attack to 7. Now, that means a lot of things. What could it mean? Well, for example, if you nerf its attack, say for example you use trying to think, there's a lot of cards, but basically if you do any kind of reduction, permanent reduction, not temporary reduction, at the beginning of the turn, it'll go back to 7. However, alternatively, I believe that if you buff this card's attack at all, it will be reduced to 7. So essentially you can give him temporary buffs or temporary debuffs, but all in all, he's going to be the same. It's going to be a 7/7. And in reality, it's a 5 mana 7/7, which really is a pretty good card. However, there are a lot of concerns when it comes to this. One, if you silence him at all, he's a 5 mana 0/7, so he has nothing. However, that being said, if you silence him, then you could technically buff him up, but then you're kind of wasting cards on a low cost minion, and there's not really a whole lot you can do with that. But the way I see it, I think this, depending on how the meta really goes, having a 5 mana this early on in the game, and unless you have something either to silence it, if you're going to waste a silence on something like this, or if you have a way to take control of it, or swap the attack and health, and spare parts are going to be not really making a big presence in the game. I don't know. I'd have to look back on the current card set we have for standard and see if there's any way to generate spare parts, because goblins and gnomes is going to be going away. So a lot of the spare part generation, which one of them included the attack and health swap mechanic. However, there are things, if we scroll down into the comments, Crazy Alchemist will still be around because that is a base set card, and that will kill it instantly. So we will be seeing that if Validated Doomsayer does become a major part of the meta. We'll see things like Crazy Alchemists in there to try to counter the meta, so to speak. However, this also gives priests a massive buff to Cabal Shadow Priest unless Blizzard decides to nerf the card, and as of today, which is the 20th of March, there have been no nerfs. I know they are going to be making some nerfs to cards such as Big Game Hunter. I don't believe they've had any announcements for Cabal Shadow Priest, but I haven't checked on that specific card because it's not really a card that I guess I follow. It's not like I'm following this card on, Facebook or Twitter or anything. But I'm sure there's a Twitter dedicated to it, because why wouldn't there be? It is the bane of many existences, and of course it's going to be the bane of this. I'm sure the validated Doomsayer doesn't really care whose side. Cannot talk. The joke's ruined. He doesn't care where he's at. He just wants to be a Doomsayer. That's, at the end of the day, that's all he wants to do. However, it would be really funny to see a validated Doomsayer, and then you see like a regular Doomsayer come out. It's just like, well, this is awkward. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So overall, I think this is definitely a card I'm going to try out. For sure. I think it's going to see a decent amount of play. I'm not sure about Arena. I'm not an Arena player. Like I said before, I'm the common man's perspective. I'm not a pro, but I'm not terrible. Kind of right in the middle. So, as it is. We'll see where it goes when we get there. Next up is another card I'm pretty excited about just because of the mechanic. It's going to be Hogger, the Doom of Elwyn. Well, technically it just says Doom of Elwyn, not the, but I digress. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/2 null with taunt. Now, this could mean a lot of things. First off, the old Hogger didn't actually summon anything until the end of the turn. So you'd only get a maximum of 1 taunt creature per turn. However, it didn't have the cost of him taking damage. And usually if something's going to take damage, it's going to take quite a bit of it. But that being said, if you try to do a trade with Hogger, say you have your opponent plays Hogger, but you have something with 2 attack, something with 3 attack, and maybe a 4 attack or even a 5 attack, but you don't have something that has a straight up 6 attack. If you don't have any removal or any silences or anything, and you're just, you got your minions and you have this Hogger to deal with, and you don't want to attack face, you're either going to have to make the decision to attack face and not spawn any additional minions, or you're going to have to attack him. He's going to spawn 1, you're going to have to launch another minion at the taunt, then you're going to have to hit him again with something else, and then he's going to get another taunt on top of that. So, the problem is with him, it's a 7 mana card. Think of people on turn 7 dropping a Dr. Boom, and then think of people dropping a Hogger, Doom of Elwyn. Hogger doesn't seem near as scary as Dr. Boom would, because Dr. Boom, he automatically summons out bots, and the bots can explode, dealing tons of damage effectively. Since they guarantee do 1 damage at least, they are, assuming that the bots hit minions, you're going to be facing off against 7 mana, a 7/7 drop, and a 2/1 at least each, if not more. So, depending on the randomness of the targeting and the damage, of course. But Dr. Boom is going away, so this is kind of not. I wouldn't even come close to calling this the replacement, but it's in that slot. It's a very precious slot, the 7 mana slot. So apparently, as you can see over here, Warrior is going to take up a bulk of this, and I'm not surprised. However, I was kind of surprised to see Mage not really do a whole lot with it, because Mage can ping, but definitely Warrior. Warrior is going to be using this card a lot. So I think, as far as the way Warrior works with all the self-damage, it's kind of like a slightly older cousin of Grim Patron. The nice thing is it gets minions with Taunt. The not nice thing is it's still a 7 slot. So you have to have a lot of low cost things. In fact, if you're playing this on turn 7, you have to have the 0 mana card that does damage. I think it's Inner Rage is what it is, because otherwise you have to wait till turn 8 to drop this, and then something like a Whirlwind. Or, yeah, because we're losing Deathbite. which is going to be a major play in what warrior can do. So yeah, definitely gonna be interesting. But even on the not warrior side, like say if this goes in a priest, you get taunts. Like this would be a pretty good defensive card because you have priest, you can heal it up, you can give it all kinds of health buffs. And a druid, in fact, oh my god, this would be insane in druid if you think about it. You summon this out, it lives. You could buff it up with some, with some other cards that restore health, or not restore health, but even just like buff the health pool. Because druids have a lot of pretty good health buff cards, and it would even give him taunt. So he'd get he'd be a big taunt out on the field, spawns more taunts. So druids, if they wanted to play really defensively, they could. Warriors could also put taunt on this with sparring partner, and thus generate even more taunts if they wanted to. So yeah, and then imagine, oh man, here's a mini combo for you. You have Hogger, he lives, until the next turn. You bust out some dudes with Whirlwind or something, and then you have a bolster. And I mean, you have sparring partner, bolster, Whirlwind, all that good stuff. There you go. You got your new mini wombo combo. It's gonna be a good time. Is kind of what I think of it. So that's just kind of where my head's at right now. But as far as other things like rogue, not really probably gonna see a whole lot. Warlock, paladin, mage, I can kind of see because you can ping it, but even then, that's not exactly the biggest in the world. But kind of surprised druid is this. If you look down here, druid is the smallest one, and I'm really surprised just because you can really buff this guy up a lot with druid. I guess people just didn't really seem to care. I guess probably judging based on the current status of the meta when it comes to looking at the standard cards. Because I'm sure we're going to lose a lot through GVG that gave buffs and whatnot too. I'd have to look back through the base set. So let's go down to the comments, see what they have to say. Yep, see, first thing we have to say hello to Dr. Boom / Sludge Belcher 2. No, I wouldn't say Sludge Belcher because you don't actually have to attack this guy. That's the thing. He's an optional person. Like, you have to deal with a 6/6 if you don't attack him. Whereas a lot of cards, if you think about it, for example, Emperor Thousand, he is not a taunt card, but you drop him on the field and you want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Like, you just want to nail it right in the face. You want nothing to do with it. Granted, it's going away in standard because we lose Blackrock Mountain cards too, but you don't have to attack Hogger. So if you're a face player, he's just something you can generally ignore, and then it's going to be up to the person when it gets back to their turn to make use of Hogger then. However, that being said, you probably do want to get rid of him, but you're probably not going to want to waste time trading with an entire field of smaller minions as you would. You want to use one really big minion with 6 health or 6 attack or more, just to kind of slam them away. They'll still spawn out the taunt, but by then it's not going to mean a whole lot. Okay, I'm not going to read through the really long comments. We're just going to kind of skim through here. My trauma shaman, ancestral healing. Oh, that'd be very interesting. Ancestral healing, or even what's the other thing? Maybe it is ancestral healing. Then again, I have to look at shaman, see what we're going to be losing, because I think reincarnate would be pretty interesting with that too. Of course, then again, that doesn't technically do damage. Let's see. Still waiting for corrupted Dr. Doom or Dr. Boom. People are commenting on the art. There's no gold art for whatever reason. The art is pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything to really say like it's the most insane thing ever. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, Inner Rage Bolster. Yep, there it is. That's the combo, people. Turn 9. That is the combo right there, as you see it. That'd be a pretty fun combo to do. I'd do that combo. I'm just saying. Let's see. Flame Strike, BGH. We don't even know how they're gonna change Big Game Hunter. Let's see. Seems like a patron, but it's legendary, so Versar will always be the best in my mind. Yeah, Warrior's gonna have fun with it. The hogger we deserve. Let's see. Trogzer, Doom of not much. Bolster Warrior. This plus Hogger. Yep, it's going to be a lot of bolster. We're going to see some bolster Hoggers for sure. I definitely think. And with a patron build, yeah, we're going to see some very, very interesting builds coming out of this, in my humble opinion. Okay. Well, I think that leaves us with the little brother, the Infested Tauren. I know, it's not exactly saving the best for last. Kind of feel like I should have saved Hogger for the absolute last, but that's why people didn't have to wait so long. Okay, so I see a lot of problems with this card, and it's really going to depend on how the meta goes, in my personal opinion. As you can see by the comment here, Iron Beak Owl. Iron Beak Owl would be the absolute bane of this card. So, he's basically the younger, more terrible, completely unsuccessful brother of Sludge Belcher. He's a 4 mana, 2/3, which, ugh, that's 2 mana too late. Taunt, which, okay. Death Rattle, summon a 2/2 slime. Does the slime have taunt? Because if that doesn't have taunt, oh dear. Oh dear. It's gonna be some problems. Gonna have a bad day. I mean, if the 2/2 slime has taunt, that changes the card altogether. In fact, I don't even remember the original text of Sludge Belcher. Let me look it up real quick on stream. Why not? Sludge Belcher. Yeah, because this one announces that the slime has taunt. This one says it's a 2/2 slime. Not helping. So, the mana curve is garbage. Unless, like I said, because I was commenting just before the show, we go back. We see 3/0 costs, a 2, a 3, and nothing but a sea of 4s, some 5s, 6 on up. Now, they haven't really released anything low cost in the current card set. So are we going to be looking at a higher curve cost pool where there's going to be a lot more 4s and 5s and on upwards versus things having like 3s and below? You know, I wonder how they're actually going to balance it out, or if it's going to be generally balanced and this is just kind of the first wave. We saw a lot of the mid-range on up, and eventually we'll see the lower end of the spectrum. Like I said, it does up with 3 zeros, and they're very interesting, but they're the kind of zeros that you know, they're not exactly 0. They use the rest of your mana, so they're not actually 0. But we'll get into those on a later day. In fact, maybe we'll do the 0 cost spells for the next episode. So this, I feel, I'm trying to think of a situation I'd honestly want to use this. Can't really think of something that would really be all that good. Turn 4, I just can't think of a turn 4 where I want a 2/3. I guess it depends on what taunts I'm losing, because I know, for example, one of my favorite taunts in the game that we are losing, because it was in Goblins and Gnomes, was Arcane Nullifier. It's a 4 mana, 2/5, and it's immune to magic. And in my opinion, it's the perfect taunt. It was just great. It was, you know, it was immune to hero powers. It was immune to spells. The only thing it just was not good at, because if you think about it, a lot of things have 3 health. Not a lot of things have 2 health. So it didn't do as much as Shield Master, like Shield Master, but it had the ability to not be targeted by spells, which is what made me fall in love with it. Because there was nothing worse than playing out a taunt and it completely getting wrecked. However, it's still silenceable, but I digress. So I'm trying to think. I can understand Blizzard's mentality with this one, because you do get a 2/2 slime out of it, but I'm just thinking, I don't know if that's worth it. Maybe because if it's a 2/2 instead of a 1/2 like Sludge Belcher, but I don't know. If it had taunt, probably be a bit more interested. Because it doesn't, I'm not really gonna care. Oh, okay. So this is kind of like the piloted shredder replacement, but if it was a 3-2, well then you got 3-2 with taunt, it's kind of silly. Your hard up piloted shredder, Hearthstone, blah blah blah. Maybe we've just been too spoiled when it comes to other cards. Infested Terran. Let's see, let's go down. Another useless card. Ain't got nothing on Sludge Belcher. Hey, there it is, right in the comments. Sorry, Happy Blizzard, now with a 4 mana cost, yep. That's a long comment, too long to read. TLDR. Maybe it was 3 mana. Yeah, 3 mana I think, or would 3 mana be too much? I feel like the stats, I'd rather take, I think it should be a 3-3 at the very least, to be honest. 3 mana, or 4 mana, 3-3, because if you think about it, okay, wait. It technically, in the long term, has the same stats as Chewing Yeti with Taunt. I can see where Blizz is going, however, I don't think a 2-2 and a 2-3 equal a 4-5. But that's just kind of my personal opinion. And yeah, I don't see it. I mean, it has Taunt, that's kind of the big thing, but I don't know. Let's see, this is what Shredder should have been. I don't know. Harvest Golem, 2-3. Yeah, see, it's a 3 mana 2-3, and you get a 2-1 out of it. Maybe it's just like a, I don't know. Yeah, it is like these, if these two had a kid, that is kind of funny. In fact, I'm willing to bet this is where they got the idea, was something off of Harvest Golem, but Harvest Golem has mech synergy. Sludge Belcher doesn't have anything else, not to mention we're losing it, but Harvest Golem has a mech, which isn't going to mean a whole lot moving forward because we will still have Harvest Golem, but other than, I guess, just its basic stats, mech is not going to mean a whole lot. Oh, I'll proceed to explain why this card's perfect. Okay, I will read this one because I want to know, because I'm used to seeing people hate on cards, but I want to see what this one. Death Round minions, summon minions are supposed to be high value due to having better stats at the cost of tempo or worse single minion body. Hunter Creeper is a 3-4 for 2, Harvest Golem is a 4-4 for 3. Good stat distribution. Powder Shredder is a 6-6 for 4. This minion is a 4-5 with Taunt, or 4 mana that stops a single 1-2 meeting in your face. The slime does not have Taunt. In fact, the slime does little for you to help you. The purpose of this card is to have bad cards. Every set needs bad cards for pack and arena purposes, as well as to teach news why cards like these are bad. Ben Brode said so himself, so this card fits the role perfectly. It's like, because it's a common card, it'd be really sad if I were to get bad legendaries instead of saving 1600B. Okay, it's basically saying the card's here because it has to be. Okay, I can kind of buy that. You do have to have bad cards, I admit. You know, you can't have everything be a Dr. Boom and a Pallet Shredder, because otherwise the game would just be too crazy, kind of like how it has been, and why they're trying to balance it out now. But I still think, I don't know, to me, because I think part of it is because we've only had so many cards really spoiled to us, and we're probably not going to get the full set spoiled, that it definitely seems, and it's like one of those things like, this card, why would you spoil this, kind of a thing. Okay. Well, I think that's going to cover it. Kind of beating every card into the ground. Was there anything left unvalidated Doomsayer I wanted to cover? Let's see. I think we covered a lot of the comments. Oh yeah, Aldor Peacekeeper. That's the one, because that is a base set card. If Aldor Peacekeeper comes and slams on the validated Doomsayer, it's not going to do anything. So back to the start of the next turn, it's like, hey, got my stuff back. So, doing pretty good. The only thing is, if you play some warrior, you can't give a charge. That's the only thing, you know? Alright. Well, I don't know if this discussion is going to go over quite as well as the last discussion. Can always hope. can definitely always hope. I want to just take the time to thank you guys for joining me today. And of course, if you want to check out that Mario Maker level, I'm going to be doing every time you see a video, you see a new one. I'm not going to have like a huge discussion on it. It's just going to be kind of there. I'll put it off to the side. I'll probably adjust the size of it so it doesn't take up too much space in the video. And I'll always leave a link in the description below. So be sure to check the description below and you'll have a link right to it. And that way you can actually bookmark it right on the website. If you didn't know about this, what this is, Mario Maker bookmark, I actually just found out about today, oddly enough, even though I'm sure the game has advertised it to me. If you bookmark something in the website, and if you have this linked to your Nintendo account, when you go into the game, you'll actually can go to your bookmarks tab and play the game right off of there, so you don't even need to type in the number. It'll be right on your bookmarks. Ooh, I got a comment on mine. My God, let's look at it. Oh, I have to sign in. I don't want to do that. That'd take effort, and I don't want to do that. Not to mention I don't want to sign in front of all of you fancy people, because then you'll, I don't know, see stuff. You won't see my password, but just want to make a better be safe than sorry. That's what I always say to things. So, got that all covered. We'll be back to regular videos, hopefully starting pretty soon. I know it's been really crazy with the erratic upload schedule, but hopefully tomorrow, I know I promised on Friday I was going to get a whole lot done, but really hoping things are going to get back on track. It's not a really busy weekend. So thank you all for watching. If you have any questions about any cards I've talked about before, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will answer them in the next episode, whether it be gameplay or in card discussion, and we'll just kind of figure it out from there. Now, I know I'm rambling. I always ramble. I'm the ramble of Rambleville. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and end it, and I'll see you all later.